Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Pyramidion is a game that I sort of liked at first, but after more and more plays of the game, I tended to like it less and less. And it's because I think the problems of the game become more glaring. Now, I probably like this game with less players, I think. And I think the problems with multiplayer comes in. So you're playing these cards from your hand to different locations, and they might give you influence in one or more different areas. The problem with it is that you can't bet on everything. So there's a lot of like these auctions that are going on that you're not part of, and that's kind of boring. In addition, it makes the auctions not very dynamic because there might be only one or two cards played on each one. Players, not total cards, but I might be in this, and this person might be in it, but these two people are out. Then the next one, these two people are in, and these two people are out, and it doesn't make it very dynamic. In addition, I did like the artwork, although it repeats a lot. I do like the look of the game. Some of the icons on it are a little bit small to see from across the table. There were some issues that some of the players had with that. Now, I personally didn't suffer from that, but there were people that were complaining about that. The auctions just didn't tend to be very interesting when you're playing these cards down for the powers. And it was more like you don't want to blow all your cards on something, so you kind of want to make sure that you can get something out of it. Because if you don't get anything out of an auction and you're blowing cards on it, you're going to be screwed in this game, and it's not going to be fun as that problem continues to compound. Now, there are icons that stay on there from round to round. Those are interesting, and I really like the game. Honestly, I just feel like I needed more cards in my hand that would have fixed a lot of these issues. Now, you can house rule that if you choose. I don't know how. I don't want to rebalance the game. I don't know if it would even work. It just appeared like the fun was in the auctions and bidding for things, and we never had enough cards. And I know at some point there's got to be a cutoff, but maybe I needed to be in 80% of the auctions instead of maybe 2 of the 6. And that's kind of where we found ourselves over and over again. I played with different groups of people. I played with different number of people. And the more I played it, the more I saw the warts and the issues that I were having with the game. And then when I played with my gamer friends, they immediately saw these issues, and I have to agree with them. So this is a game that I like. Solid experience. But if you're going to play it a lot, I think you're going to see the warts, and you'll agree with me that it's a purge. So here's Pyramidion. You can see a pretty striking box. Now, what's really funny about this is all the smiling people on there. It's got torturers and slaves in this game, so it is what it is. You can have a rule book when you open up. We'll take a look at in a few minutes. You're going to have these little areas that you'll have on the board. We had some user issues with this. I think these are kind of hard to see. See, they get kind of small up here. But the pictures are fine, a little bit generic. You're going to have these tiles. Everybody's going to get these. So let me show these to you because they can be a little bit confusing. Now, granted, they're different colors and they have different logos on them. So if you look really closely, you can see that one is gold and one is silver. And if you look super close here, you can see this one has a handshake and that has a hook on it. If you're looking from across the board, it's a little hard to see. Different colors, I'm sure, but very, very similar. You're going to have some pretty good artwork on these cards. I kind of like it, but as you can see, they're going to repeat quite a bit. So you're going to have the same things over and over again. The tiles are very nice, very thick. You're going to have enough to play with 4 people and a bunch of these tiles. Now, these tiles are great. They're fine. It's just they're really hard to see from across the board. They're not very striking. People just had a lot of issues with these from across the board, and you're going to have another deck of cards, which will make up pretty much the deck of what you've seen other than the starter cards. So usability was in these tiles. It was hard to see from across to match up with these. And then when you have your boat cards, these are really, really tiny icons. It looks great when I put it like this, but when it's across the board and these are over here, it was hard for people to match up. So a little bit of an issue. Not a big deal. I mean, you can pick up the card and you can look at it. So I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill, but it was a complaint at the table. Here's a rulebook. You can see the introduction and the objective here. Great opening. This is an older game. It's great to have a picture of all the components. You got a picture of setup, go through. Very easy to pick up. Actually, the rulebook was very good throughout. You can have this game sequence up here, and then it breaks each one down. You got examples and notes, and this is great. So at the back here, if you want to play 2-player, the rules for 2-player are back here. You can have a motion. They also put them in here, so you can tell, oh, if you're a 2-player, you do this, blah, blah, blah. But it's excellent. Just excellent. As you go through pictures with examples, everything is fantastic. So if you want to read, this is a delight to read. End of the game. Then on the back, you have an overview of the special characters. Now, I do wish there was a player aid that everybody got this, because it was kind of hard to read it and pass this around. My only minor little nibble with that. But the rulebook was excellent. Probably about 15 minutes to read through it, and you'd be up and running. You're going to have these locations that are out. Now, where they're at doesn't really matter. The first thing you're going to do on a turn is you're going to put out 5 of these boats. And you need to make sure that there are 5 of them out for the players. And it doesn't matter the player count for that. You just have these 5 boats that are out. Now, if anybody has a gold person on a location, they'll be out. And I'm just going to kind of set these up as if we're, mid-round or whatever. The second thing you do is look at the card and fill up the board. Now, you will know before this round, you will know what's coming out next round, so you can kind of plan for it, and you'll put these tiles out based on this card. I'm just going to kind of showcase some things here and show you how this works. So you might have the board seated. Now, if anything wasn't taken the previous round, it stays there, and more could be added by an additional card. Now, if you had a gold like this, and you had a gold guy out, the negotiator, at this point, third thing in the phase you can do is he can take one of these. So having these guys out is really important, because at this phase, he's got a free resource, which is kind of cool. And you can take anything that's available. Now, if nothing was there, get nothing. So, your luck may be such. Then you're going to draw cards. So what's going to happen is everybody's going to have their 5 starter cards with their color. Then you're going to draw 4 from the top of the deck, which will be random, and you'll start the round off with 9. Now, in a 4-player game, every place will be auctioned. In a 2-player game, only 3. In a 3-player game, only 6. Each location will do something a little different. So each location, as you can see here, may have different resources that are on it. Will have a different resource it will give for the torturer, and have different thresholds you have to have, and maybe a different power. I'm not going to go through each one because they all kind of work the same. But, Giza is going to be turn order. This one will give you a boat. So you get to put a boat in front of you that only you can fill up for the round. You might have, if you're first player to play an Ankh, you can get rid of somebody else. You can trade 3 workers in for a statue. Everybody who plays an Ankh here will get a free resource, and you'll see some of your cards have Ankh. So if you play one there, then you're going to get the free resource if you play the Ankh. So for the most part, what's going to happen, I'll just kind of shoot all this away, is someone's going to pick a location to auction off. So you're going to auction off just this one location at a time. And what this location is going to tell you is a few things, which is these resources right here are available. First person to play an Ankh can take a character, one of these, off of another location. You always want to take somebody else's off, obviously not yours. And then these are the thresholds. So if you want to win this, you have to play at least 6. If you want to win this, you have to play at least 5 and 6. So on your turn, you're going to take one of your cards, and you can see it has the different denominations at the top. Or it might be the one that's a wild card. You can do any one of the 3 that you want, or you might have a special power here that you can utilize. So you're going to play your card down in front of you, and now if you see I have 6 towards this, and now maybe somebody else comes through, and on their turn, I'm just going to place it here just so you can easily see it, but they'll play it in front of them. They have 1 and 6 in the handshake. So maybe I want to go out to the handshakes too, so I can play another card. So now I have 8 in the bargaining, 4 in negotiating, and no in the influence. You can play a maximum of 5 cards. Remember, you only have 9, and you're going to auction off in a 4-player game all 8 of these locations. So you won't be bidding on necessarily everything in the game. So let's say another player were to come in, and the third player is going to bid this. I'm just going to place it here so you can see it. So this player has 8 in the handshakes. So I'm going to win because I'm sorry, not in the handshakes, on the bargaining. I'm going to win. He only has 1. This guy has 0, and I met the threshold. So if I had played only the 2, that wouldn't have met the threshold. I wouldn't have won anything. But because I played 8, I will get to keep all of these resources, and they will go into my compound. Handshakes, this guy beat the threshold, and he did that, so he gets to put out one of his people. So he gets to put out a gold person on that location. And the person that had the most hooks, he'll get to put out his person on that location. So he's going to put out his torturer. Now you can only have one torturer and one negotiator on a location. So let's say this was there the previous round and somebody else won. This would come off and they would put theirs on to replace it. Remember, at the beginning of the round, this is going to give you a resource of your choice if there's one there. Once you auction everything off, then you're ready to fulfill the boats. And what people are going to do is spend those resources to fulfill the boats. So you have to have 2 wood and 2 workers. If you do that, then you can take the victory points 3. And it's a race, the first person to get 10. If more than people get 10 on a round, then it's whoever has the most. What the torturer is going to do is, so let's say I wanted to fulfill this boat right here. This boat requires 2 wood and 2 workers. Let's say I had the 2 workers and 1 wood. I can utilize my torturer to use that. So I can spend him once per round to get whatever is on that. And the different locations will give you different stuff. So this one gives me pots and camels. This one you could choose brick or workers, etc. So that's what the torturer is going to do. So each round you're going to try to get enough resources to pay off in order to score the victory points. You put this in front of you, and whoever gets 10 first, or if more than both of your turn 10, whoever has the most is your winner. Who should buy this game? If you like the pyramid theme, like the Egyptian theme of it, I think there's some really neat things going on here with the slave drivers and the different people that are in this game. I feel like if you're going to play it a lot in a short period of time, it will wear on you. But if it's a sometimes game they kind of pull out, I think it's fine. And I think it works in that vicinity. But if it's like you don't have that many games and you're going to need a whole lot of plays out of this game to make it worth your money, this is not the game for you. For me, it's going to be a Purge.